Moi, terve. Tervetuloa kaikille. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Learn Finnish with me. I put a poll up. You guys get to vote on the color for the microphone. All right, this is the interactive internet content that you need. Maybe not the kind of content you knew that you needed, but it's here now. You get to influence real life decisions. All right. And so green, I think, is winning. Wait, let me see this. Oh, it's a tie between green and blue. There's also a wild card, a disco. So lock in your votes. I'll leave it open for people still arriving. But I put it on green for now, since that was the original winner. But yeah, good to see you all here. JS, Poyu, Lorelei, 27. Thanks for joining the stream today. We are going to try to learn some Finnish. And for half a second, I thought to myself, what if today is not Tuesday? Because I realized just now that I didn't. Sometimes weekdays just flow together. And it could happen one week that I start a Finnish language stream on like a Monday, thinking it's a Tuesday. But I just looked, and yeah, it is a Tuesday. Perks, welcome in. You're saying disco counts as double? Well, okay, how about I'll give you a preview of the colors. All right. Let me... is that the blue, or is this the blue? Okay, this is the blue. There's multiple options, but I can only put 4 options per on these YouTube polls. All right, so that's the blue. There's like this kind of violet or fuchsia color, which is nice. That's disco, baby. That's the RGB gamer. I will never understand why RGB lights became such a thing for PC gamers. I understand like it could be appealing to some people, but the way in which it is put in everything confuses me. It's like why do gamers want unicorn lights in their computer? I don't know. I get that, like, yeah, it doesn't have to be flashing like this all the time. But yeah, hold on. Okay, so apparently now blue is in the lead. So let me switch over to that. But wait, let me show you the red color. This one is red. Kind of feel like Darth Maul could have that. And where's my blue? There it is. All right, we'll leave it on blue since that's the one that's in the lead. But we still have people that might show up, and you can sway the the microphone color. This is me coming up with stuff to avoid actually practicing Finnish. All right. Oh, red means recording. JS, did you Hannus mess with me, Lorelei? I don't know. Maybe I am over, like, we're halfway through the year. And I was about to say I'm halfway through life, but I want to be more optimistic. But midway upon the journey of our life, as Dante said it has messed with me. Yes. Can I slow the speed of the colors changing? 27. That is true. Actually, let me show you guys that option. It's like, also I have to move it. I can't see the colors. Wait. See, okay, that's the crazy one. That's off. So this is like lo-fi disco. All right, so the colors change here. But this could be another disco option. But yeah, disco was too quick. Slow would be better. So JS, you're kind of in favor of the changing. Yeah, let's hope for less than half. But yeah, wait, wasn't Dante like 30 years old or so when he wrote the Divine Comedy? But also, like, back then, people did all their biggest achievements when they were like 29, you know? like, like when you're 27 years old, you are midway upon the journey of your life back in those days. The slow 27, you like the slow change? It transitions between the colors quite nicely. I'm looking at it now. Pretty good. But yes. Okay, wait a second. You guys wrote in Finnish in chat, and as is tradition, I'm gonna try and read some of what you've written. I'm gonna copy this. I'm not gonna look at the English. You guys can see. I mean, I wonder if anybody watches this stream who is not a Finnish speaker, because I honestly don't know. It's like watching a child do their homework, like do math homework or something. That's like really boring. But here we are. Okay, I'm not looking at the English, I promise. Sateista päivää kaikille, ei oikein kesäiseltä tunnu. Something about, I think this is about raining all day. And because also that's what I fortunately living in Finland. I mean, I guess there are other parts of Finland, but in the capital region, it has been raining. So I have a context clue. Look at me, Sherlock Holmes over here. That's like, I'm trying to think of a joke, but honestly, my brain is really failing me today. Not really summer evening tunnu. Feeling? Because I for some reason I thought it would be tuntu. Or tunnus. But anyways, let me see here. Rainy day, everyone. Oh, kaikille. So like it's kind of like what I said. Yeah. This is my problem with Finnish is the endings don't mean much to me still. I have a vibes-based interpretation of the Finnish language. And so I see kaikki and I think not for everyone, but I think all day. How would you say it was raining all day? Would it just be kaikki päivää? I don't even know. What's the partitive for kaikki? Is it like kaikkia? I can't be that. It can't be kaikkia. Kaiken päivää. Lorelai, NJS, satoi koko päivän. That's another way of saying it. Koko päivän. 27, it's like watching a child painting with finger paint. Hey, you can't say I'm not expressive. All right. I'm just... Oh, yeah. Wait, Lorelai, you went to sleep at 2 on Midsummer Day. Sparkling wine, a light walk, some mom got to pick flowers and some other stuff. Oh, very nice. That was, I guess, is that over in Turku? I feel like you've told me that you would go to Turku to visit your mom. Sometimes I get people mixed up. I apologize. But glad you had a nice midsummer. And yeah, okay, but here's a question. If I say like kaiken, this looks like genitive to me, right? Why was I thinking partitive? Yeah, it's genitive. I wanted, in my brain, in my logical English brain, thank you very much. Unlike the Finnish language, which the Finnish is a LARP language, okay? It is LARPing as a logical, real language. But it's just a bunch of people in costumes pretending to understand each other. That's what I've come to conclude. And with all due respect, I think that's a beautiful thing. You got a beautiful thing going here for the Finnish language. But I think logically, kaikki should agree with päivä, like adjectives agreeing with nouns, right? Like all day. But apparently, maybe all is not an adjective, right? It's a pronoun or a determiner in this case. Or you could say kaiket päivät, every day, all the time, day after day. The partitive would have been this version. Kaikkea. Kaikkea. That's another thing with the Finnish language. When Finnish people say the AI sound, it's different from how we say it. I mean, obviously, in any language it's going to be different, but it's very different. Like, if I were to say this with like my American accent, it would be. I mean, I always have my American accent, but if I'm not even trying to sound Finnish, I say like kaikkea or even kaikkea. But when you hear Finnish people say it, they drop their like the register of their voice an octave, and they say kaikkea, kaikkea, kaikkea. It's like you're almost gurgling a little bit. I don't know. But hey, Elon, welcome in. How's it going? So the vote keeps. Green and blue are tied. Interestingly, not a single vote for red out of 10. I am quite surprised. So we've been on the slow lo-fi disco mode. I'm gonna switch it back to green now. Red, yellow, green. Boom. So we'll stay on green because we were on blue when it was tied, and then I think blue pulled ahead. We'll go back to blue if it wins again. I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll close the poll, but it's kind of fun just to have in the background for you guys. But yeah. Oh, Lorelai, so you live in Turku, but your mom doesn't. Okay. And Google Translate failed the kaiken päivä. It's not every day. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Back here, that's right. If I remember correctly from what we were just reading on Wiktionary, for every day, it was like kaiket päivä. Päivät? What was that? Is that how you spell that? Kaiket päivät. Okay. I never know sometimes. Päivät. Did I spell that? Kaiket päivät. All days. So yeah, okay, now it's so weird how Google, depending on what you type after, like if you type a phrase and then you start a totally new paragraph and then you type something else and then it's like, oh, I changed my mind about that. I was wrong earlier, so I'm gonna like, hold on, like if I remove that, see, why would this change this? And earlier, yeah, maybe you guys had already told me this and I missed it in chat. I apologize. Tunnu. It is an inflection of tuntua. So I did recognize that underlying verb. Or I guess the root. I was thinking of it as a noun, as a feeling, but not as having felt. But wait, hold on. It's tunnu could be the present active indicative, con-negative. Oh, is that it? Oh, is that why it tripped me up a little bit? That's why. It's because you put it in the negative. You're saying it doesn't really feel like summer, right? It doesn't really feel like a summer. Wait, what is this? What is this? What is this word? Is this like kesainen or something? Yeah, kesainen. Summery. Summer-like. How many summers have you lived? My sweet summer child. Yeah, it was really raining today. And all week it's supposed to be raining. But I will take the wet weather if it's cool. Like if it's like in this range of like 15 to 18 degrees Celsius. I prefer that over like 27 and sunny. When it's like 27 degrees, it's just like, oh my gosh, we're 30. In Finland, that's not very hot if back in Texas, but it feels hotter here somehow. I mean, it's mainly the air conditioning or the lack of air conditioning, all right? Or even like 22. 22? No, thank you. Maybe if I'm outside and I'm chilling and there's a nice breeze. But if you're inside without air conditioning, and then it's a little bit too much. But also, there was a crazy thunderstorm a few days ago. That was like, we had hail, like ice. Ice was raining down. It was pouring down. And it kind of surprised me. It reminded me of thunderstorms back in America. Like, you guys don't get proper thunderstorms here in Finland or even in Europe. I don't know. There's something about parts of America where, I don't know, it's like we get these crazy floods where it just pours down and there's lightning, and especially in Texas, like we get these lightning storms that were just like unbelievable. And this was a taste of it. It was a few days ago, or time is flowing in a weird circle right now in my life, so I can't really keep track. I don't know how long ago was that, but yeah, it was pouring down rain, and there was a lot of lightning, which is pretty fun. It's one of those rare moments where it's like you kind of stop what you're doing just to look out the window for a while, and you're just like in awe of nature and its power. And sometimes when that happens, I think of like, what did people feel like, thousands of years ago when people were here in Finland, and they would have these crazy storms. What did their homes look and feel like, and how, like, what would it have been like to be among them, right? To be one of the ancient Finns, or I don't know technically if there were Finns at that point, like if it was, you go back to whatever Bronze Age or Neolithic times, I don't know. But yes, but oh yeah, going back to the voice drop thing, JS, it's indeed true now that you've analyzed yourself saying it, JS. It is. I noticed that. I especially, yeah, it's like, uh, there's a lot of little things. Of course, you never notice like your own language, right? Until someone points it out. Like I remember when I was learning French, we had a professor who taught all in French, except occasionally, because I think he was a language teacher. Because I took a variety of classes. It was a while ago. Anyways, the point is, he talked about the English word beer. And it had never occurred to me that beer is like 2 or maybe even 3 vowels or syllables, right? It's like 2 if you think of it as like beer. And I was like, huh, yeah, it's actually, yeah, I never noticed that. But that's one of those weird things about, English, I guess. We're not a forward-thinking people. Even with our language, the vowels are very back vowels. I like that, Helion. That explains everything. It is a, what is it? A meme, a prank that the Finnish people have been perpetuating for thousands of years. Just to make that play on word. Tunne is the noun? Wait, tunne is a noun. That confuses. Oh, tunne. Oh, with an E. Okay, sorry. My bad. I jumped the gun a little bit. My Finnish dyslexia kicked in, and because I was thinking of this word, tunnu. But yeah, a suklainen type, a chocolate word. That, or a slippery word. What? Or a melting word. What was it? Suklata. You didn't know the Finnish grammar was actually a good password generator? Exactly. Feel my pain. Like, learning this language is like decoding some complex hash. Present active indicative con negative. Yeah, 27, you notice I didn't realize I said that until after I said 27 degrees. I was like, oh, I bet 27 is going to notice. And you did. That was for you. Oh, by the way, we're on blue now. Boom. Blue is in the lead. Maybe, guys, what we need to do is just turn this live stream into one of those, what is it, like viewer participating live stream, like marble races, you know, where everyone in chat gets their own marble, and then the marbles go down a course together, down these funnels, and then as the marbles emerge as winners, you know, you can celebrate your marble's victory or lament its untimely demise, like if the marble flies off the machine. Or like I could create like a real marble machine here. Just like, I don't know. But yeah. You're going to the amusement park 27. Very nice. Hope you enjoy it. Ride some roller coasters. Yeah, the ocean's pretty far away from Finland. But I don't know, Elon, like I know there's obviously the Gulf Stream is often used to kind of explain everything. But there's something about like in the middle of America, kind of that basin area of like just east of the Rocky Mountains, but west of the Appalachians, we get some crazy storms. Like the cold weather from Canada, cold wet air combined, or is it the cold dry air coming down with the warm wet air coming off the Gulf of Mexico? Or the Gulf of America, apparently. When those combine, it can create some like incredible storms. Oh, Kesainen does similar grammar stuff as Suklainen. Okay, thank you, Laurel. That's why you mentioned Suklainen. Yeah, summary. And that was, did you say that over here? Yeah. Kesaiselta. Kesainen. Kesaiselta. Kesaiselta. You aren't participating? What do you mean? You're participating by voting in the poll for the color of my microphone. Oh, with marbles on stream, it's very much more passive. That's true. I wonder if there would be a way for you to increase the odds. I could have like a clicker game or something where you have to like click on screen. Yeah, I don't know. There's some more Finnish to be translated, as well as in the Selko Uti set of today. Tyler's just hallucinating chat. That's a good explanation. I'm just living in my own Matrix simulation. But wait a second. There was some other stuff you guys had said in chat, but I physically cannot access it. Or I don't know. I might be missing some messages. But anyways, we learned the difference between these. Kaiken päivä means all day. And kaiket päivät means every day. So let's see here. JS. Oh, I looked at the English briefly and I saw a little bit, but only like the first half. Just instinctually I didn't translate. But you said here, toki kävin aiemmin päivällä taas 10 kilometriä kävelylenkillä. Enemmän olisi voinut sataa, niin olisi ollut vähemmän hyttysiä. Huh. Yeah, I don't know this word, but I also don't know toki. Like kävin means I walked. Aiemmin. Like, oh, earlier. Earlier today, again, taas, 10 kilometers. Kävelylenkillä. This is like a walking track, maybe? Like around on the walking track. That doesn't really sound right in English, but I assume you walked your normal. Is it like a trail in the like a park kind of? Enemmän olisi voinut sataa. Something about maybe it raining? Or no. Or to get. No, sada is to get. Sata could also mean hundreds. So, good luck. But enemmän, does that mean before? Before olisi, it would be able to rain? Niin, it would. I don't know what niin is doing here, because that means like so. Would be, would have been. Sometimes these verb tenses break my brain a little bit. Later something. Anyways, let's look at the English. Oh, toki means of course, or something like that. Of course, I went for another 10K walk earlier in the day. Okay. I don't know how I translated it originally, but I probably said something like earlier today. But tänään is today. But it's the same meaning of like earlier in the day. It could have rained more, so there would have been fewer mosquitoes. Yeah, I didn't quite understand that. Oh, wait. Does this mean more? I always get... There's like several words I get confused all the time. And then man and like... I don't know. Yeah, okay. More. Why do I get it confused with before? Let me see. You guys might be helping me. You're just a bunch of AI bots. Well, you've been trolling me for years at this point. You're the most committed AI bots. You're locked in. Thank you for that. Or at least you're entertaining me. So, who's trolling who? Kilometrin. Instead of I said kilometria or something like that, but yeah, Kymenen kilometrin. Because it's like you walked the 10 kilometers, so it's kind of like the 10 kilometers sort of the object of the sentence, like it's a definite thing, so that's why you use genitive as opposed. Wait, really? Kymenen kilometrin. That seems wrong. Because typically when you use numbers, you use partitive, right? But anyways, forest trail, sandy, wider trail, Ururata, Latupohja, around Suolijärvi. Suoli. What does Suoli mean? Why do I think that? I was thinking of salt. That's like Suola. Suoli. Gut. Intestinal. Uh-oh. My my audio setup is I really should have gotten better speakers than the cheapest Logitech ones I could find a few years ago, because it's there's some faulty wiring issue that makes one of the speakers full volume all the time, or not all the time but randomly, and I can't fix it, and so I have to. That's why I only have one headphone in, because the other one is at max volume. I like having background music like this, and this has just become my standard background music. It's from an upcoming video game, Haunted Chocolatier, by Concerned Ape Eric Baroni, who made Stardew Valley probably my all-time favorite video game, and the vibes are immaculate in his music, so that's why I pick it for this. Later is Muhemmin. Okay, yeah. And yeah, Sara is to get. Yeah, look, I'm catching myself when I'm like thinking the wrong thing. I'm like, wait a second, think a little bit more. And yeah, it's walking laps around the lake. Okay. Ayamin is before. Or I thought Ayamin just means earlier. Right? Earlier in the day. Genitive for the length of something like 100 kilometers. Sata kilometrin automatka. The like 100 kilometers. The auto, wait, 100 kilometers, a 100 kilometer car trip. Is that what that means? Kävelin 10 kilometria versus kävin 10 kilometrin lenkillä. What? Helion. Why? Wait. Kävelin is like I walked, past tense, right? No. Versus kävin. Wait, what's the difference between Okay, we got to look this up. We got to look it up. And you guys are probably going to answer intelligently in chat. I'll get to it in a second. Let me look at kävin. It is the past of käydä. Yeah, okay, that's a little embarrassing that I didn't recognize that off the bat. This verb shows up everywhere. It is just like haunting me in this language. But yeah, to visit. I think it's like to take a shower in Finnish is like you visit the shower. You can also käydä kakalla. I can visit in the poop. That's literally what it looks like. I mean, not that I've seen it. I'm just saying what the language looks like. Not, okay, you know what? You know what I meant. All right. Yeah, to go berry picking. To visit in the berries. Or in a berry. Isn't this just a singular berry? I'm visiting in a berry. But anyways. Yeah, you can see it's like to lie down, to sit down. Oh, this is another one. I remember this. Like, how did it go for you? Miten siinä kävi sinulle? How did it turn out that way? Miten siinä niin kävi? So it's like you visited, going back to the example here, you're saying, I visited or I went, as opposed to I walked. So I think I translated it as walked. Though, to be fair, JS, in weeks past, this is like your 10-kilometer walk. I feel like you've told me it was a walk and not a run or any other mode of transport, like you're riding an e-bike or something. Oh, you're you're saying 10K is 10 Kelvin. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe that is. I know I recognized it because in English we say 10K. But actually, it's funny. Like you wouldn't typically hear it unless people are talking specifically about like running, or maybe that's just because I run, and so I only ever hear it in that context, where you talk about the distance. You ran like a 5K, a 10K, 42K, 50K. I was thinking like it would be, I've run a bunch of marathons, but I've never done an ultra. I almost feel like I need to do one just to see what it would be like to go run, to be able to run two marathons back to back. That would be pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know. That's like another level of fitness and insanity. and preparation as well. By the way, the poll is still a solid blue victory. We've got 13 votes. Blue seems to have won the vote for today. So I'll leave it open if anyone wants to cast their ballot for the microphone color. But yeah, okay, you guys, it might not look like we are making much progress, but in my defense, we are doing a deep dive into the grammar. Like sometimes I just skip over the grammar and I'm just reading for the sense, But this time I'm really asking questions of like having versus kävelin, right? Which you guys helped me out earlier. But yeah. Lenkki is a walk or a run. So yeah, we have, to break this word down, kävely. That to me is the walk. Maybe that's why also I was like, this has to be a walk. And Helion, yeah, I guess you answered this earlier. Lenkki is a walk or a run, depending. But the act of going out for one, or technically a loop, a circular travel without a destination, just out for a walk for the sake of it. Yeah. Lanky. And then it drops a K when you add the ending illa. Lanky. Lankilla. Kävely lankilla. Also, a loop of sausage. A lanky. I don't know why. It sounds like a word that should exist in English. A lank. How many lanks? Like how many loops? Like a really big loop, right? Like you're not just on like a little track loop, but you went for a lank. Why do I think it feels like that should be a word in English? Although it kind of sounds like wank, which maybe is not. I had a great lank today. I don't know about that. Maybe that's a little too similar. Pay no attention in the name of nature things. Yeah, Paskajärvi in Finland. Poop lake. And JS is saying here that 10K is often used in walking, running thing. In Finnish, I assume that's what. Yeah, we're not moving very quickly. Hey, Fisher, welcome in. Good to see you again. You did some running during your 10K and got it under 90 minutes. Nice. Well done. I've been running a lot more lately and really happy because of the past year I haven't been able to train consistently without some minor injuries that kind of force me to take weeks off at a time, like specifically my Achilles, both Achilles. I sometimes gets really sore, and then I'm just like, well, I like running, but I'm not like, it's not like I die without it, you know. So I take time off. But lately, the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've been able to run a lot more, and it's been nice. And it feels good to get back in shape, like to just go for whatever, I don't know, like 16-kilometer run. And just to have an audiobook, I'm listening to Dance with Dragons right now, the 5th book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. And I'm not even thinking about the run. I'm just chilling. I'm just cruising, and it feels so nice. But then, you know, anytime I take like too much time off, like a month or so, that's kind of rare. But like, you know, then it's like really tough. And even just going out for like 10 kilometers, I'm like so sore, and I'm like going so slow, and also nervous about maybe, what is it, triggering my Achilles, and like, you know, trying not to get injured. But I also do a bunch of other stuff to try and help with like strength training and yoga to help avoid injury, and just like eating and sleeping. I think sleep is probably one of the most important for injury prevention. But yeah, running is great. It also feels so nice to go outside without all the snow and having to put all the layers of clothes on. Oh my gosh, it's nice. But the funny thing is now, it's nice, but then I have to put sunscreen on. I get to go out without all the layers, but now I have to take time putting sunscreen on my arms and legs and face. I would typically put sunscreen on my face anyway in the winter. But yeah. So it's like there's still like annoying stuff. But once I get out the door and I'm running, it feels so nice. I love it. But yeah, congrats to you, JS, for the 90-minute 10K. Well done. Oddly enough, Helion says, Gauda also means to walk. In a sense, a kaunti is a type of progression for a horse. But in the context of Gauda lenkilla, it doesn't necessarily mean walking. Like to go for a loop, kind of. To do a loop. Actually, I'm going to look that word up. Kaunti. I've seen that before. I've also seen, is it kunti or kuti? That means like a ride. Because I saw, let me look this word up. I don't know. Was it this? Probably. Was it with one Y? No. Kuti. Thank you. Look, you see how impossible it is to learn this language? I can't even look words up in the dictionary because I keep misspelling them. You misspell the word and you like there's like even if you misspell the word by like 1 or 2 letters, it's just like everything the search results would be like half the language would show up. Kuti. A ride, a lift. Used of the stagecoach system. But yeah, there was like it was like a school bus. It was like koulukyyti. I think that was what it had a label on the side. It was a little mini bus. It was a cute little bus. And I was like, "Huh, what is that?" So I looked it up. Oh, and hey, Katya, good to see you. Welcome. I haven't seen you in chat in a while, so nice to see you here. Thanks for dropping in. You'll realize nothing has changed. I'm still as inept as ever. No, actually, we had been making progress. I had been practicing every day doing the Selko Uti set. And I hope that progress is still, I haven't forgotten it. But to be honest with you guys, I haven't been as consistent with it. I've had to prioritize some other things, and then also, I don't know, sometimes you kind of burn out a little bit. I was doing it every day, and I was just like, oh, it's like another thing I have to do. So I was like, I need a vacation from learning Finnish, or at least learning Selko Utiset. But yeah, JS, that's good to go out 5 to 6 times a week for a walk. That's really good. That's a key to longevity. Just like stay active, get outside, get out in the forest, Finnish people, and enjoy the beautiful nature you have here. Eat healthy. Be nice to people, you know. There aren't that many dictionaries with misspelled words. Look, I know it's a user error problem, but I feel like the user interface could be better. All right. And by user interface, I'm not talking about Wiktionary. I'm talking about the Finnish language. It's not a user-friendly language. It's not. It's so user unfriendly. Even native Finnish speakers sometimes baffle themselves. Have pause to think. You're just so old that it takes a bit longer. I learned the language in a year or two when I was younger. Coincidentally, a year or two old. Well, Helion, thanks for that. Yeah, I am at a disadvantage to an infant. And yes, Katya, I did move a year ago. Last year, I moved out. I was about to say where I moved. I haven't revealed it. I kind of like the, I don't know, the anonymity of it, I suppose. Not that it really matters. But I moved outside of Helsinki. I'm still in the capital region, but just in a little, yeah, kind of like a more rural area. I feel like I live in the Shire. It's really beautiful. Uh, so yeah, it's great. I like it. It's a lot cheaper. I have a bit more space. It's much more quiet, except for the freaking mopeds. Finnish? What is with Finnish teenagers? Boys and girls, by the way, on their freaking mopeds, their mopos. It is a violence against us old people. All right. It is auditory violence for a tiny little machine to make that much noise, right? A tank could be rolling through and it would make less noise than that. The gang of mopeds. No, thank you. Wait, Lorelai, pay attention to your message in Finnish. Wait, which one? This one? No, this was JS. There's. I'll have to go back up to it, Lorelai. Give me a second. Oh, JS. Well, I do hope that you just enjoy the walk for its own sake. Then, yeah, you don't. That's true. Like, you don't have to enjoy things just because they're healthy, right? So, isn't there like a little enjoyment in that? And does that say something about my personality that I kind of enjoy being healthy? Not in a punishing way. Like, but I enjoy when I'm eating and it's like healthy and it tastes freaking good and you're like, I'm winning at life. You know? Or like you get back from a long run and you're just like, yes, that felt so good. I at least did something positive today. Or you have like a long conversation with like a best friend and it's almost like your sides hurt from laughing so much. That's healthy. That's how you win. Yeah, teens got a teen. I'm almost just like, okay, I don't understand teenagers. I was a teenager, but I was not like one of these teenagers. Like, when you're a teenager, aren't you also supposed to be like, you've come into your self-awareness and self-shame, right? The moped violates those norms. It's like, it's the complete opposite. It's like drawing attention to yourself. Like, hey, everyone look at me. I'm a douchebag. And that's like that's like a whole culture for teenagers. Like it's not even just like, oh, I'm riding the moped and it's not designed to be quiet. I'm very sorry that it disturbs you. That's not the attitude. The attitude is, I am not even moving the moped. I'm just standing here and with the kickstand out, and I am just going to rev the moped as loud as it can go, just for funsies, right? And I'm going to do it in a very like public place where lots of people are walking around and they can't even have conversations with each other because it's so loud. Oh. What's this? Finnish is a käyttäjäystävällinen kieli. What the heck is that? Especially with spelling and pronunciations. Teen's got a teen. Moped kids. The purgatory cherubs. Wait, what? So are you saying like that would be like going back to Dante? There's a level, not in hell, but in purgatory, where you suffered some type of sin in your life that can only be purged by a bunch of moped kids, like just like revving their engines constantly. for thousands of years in purgatory, and then eventually you get to ascend. I do like that version. I wonder how Dante would write the Divine Comedy nowadays. Yeah, I am in the countryside now. But I don't feel like I'm that country though. Like, cause I mean I can walk. I have public transportation. Like I don't have a car. I'm not that remote, and I'm so close to the like the capital city that it doesn't feel like I don't know. You have an ATV at your summer place 27. Katya, you haven't been here for over a year now. Wow. Last time you were here, I was planning to move. Time does fly. It really does. Yeah. In the latter half of your teenage years, it feels nice to rev. Oh wait, no, JS. I misread your message. It feels nice, especially in the latter half of the 10. Oh, in the latter half of the 10 kilometers, it feels nice. I thought you were saying that revving your moped feels nice in the latter half of your teenage years, which also makes sense in the context of what we've been talking about. JS, you think that's coming from my own upbringing? You know, I think it is tempting to connect a lot of things, to our upbringing, but I also feel like everyone kind of turns out their own way regardless, right? Because I think of all the people that had very similar upbringing to me, or practically identical upbringing, like my siblings, and how different they are, right? Not just my siblings, but all the kids I went to school with, we all turned out so different that it's just sort of like, yeah, you're just, you know, stuff stuff happens. Stuff happens and you become who you are. But yeah, guys, you're doing a really good job of distracting me from learning Finnish. I would like to point that out. All right. I can't keep up with all the messages. You had a Suzuki PV. Suzuki, isn't that like one of those really powerful motorcycles? It sounds like a motorcycle. But does Suzuki also make these little mopeds or dirt bikes? Oh, Helion, that was a good joke. I totally took it in my own direction, but you were saying Purgatory's cherubs versus Hell's angels. Yeah. I don't have the mental ability to make the connection that you intended. But that's a good one. I like that. Moped kids, smaller version of biker dudes. You are the one being distracted. Yeah, I am actively participating in the distraction. I'll admit. I'll admit it. There were other messages up here that I haven't translated. We're gonna power translate them. All right. I'm not even gonna make a mistake. Let's just do this. All right. This was Polyu. You had said earlier, Ita, or maybe does that mean Ilta? Oh yeah, Google is even correcting you here. But good evening, everyone. Kaikille, sort of good evening to everyone. Yallen Keran. Another time or something like that? Keran? Kerta means a time. Does it mean like once again or something like that? Good evening. Yallen. I don't know this word, but I don't know. I'll look at the English here in a second. Tateista ja villeä on mutta ei voi mitään. So you're talking about, I think this is about raining, but yeah, some rain and wool. Wind? No. Shouldn't I? Wait, what is this? Sleet? Is it like a type of precipitation? It's not that, yeah, sort of like there's some rain and, yeah, something else. But, but it's nothing. Hello, everyone. Once again, okay, I did kind of translate that, okay. It's rainy and cool. Yeah. Okay. I do recognize this now. Ilea. Cool, not cold, but cool. But there's nothing you can do. Ei voi mitään. Uta, ei voi mitään. It's like, it's just these little nuance expressions that I'm like, they could mean anything. They could just mean anything. That it's so difficult to remember that it should be it. You can't help it. There's nothing you can do. I think I had translated it as it doesn't matter or it's nothing. Because I think because people say ei mitään, which is like, don't worry about it, or it's nothing. Like if you say thank you and then someone responds ei mitään, like it was nothing. But in this case, ei voi mitään, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, I don't know what the literal translation of this would be, but I'm gonna. Okay, Lorelai, you had left. This was your message in Finnish earlier. But wait, let me check here what you guys were telling me. Suzuki PV is pieni mopo, smaller than scooters, extra small little moped. Ikosin, oh my gosh, Helion, what? You just wrote a long message in Finnish that I might have to come to in a minute. It's good. I can't translate that immediately. I missed the I when I copy pasted. Oh, why? Who decided? I thought this was a capital I. Who decided to make a lowercase l identical to a capital I? Who decided that? Because that was dumb. That was dumb. I'm just going to call it. And also extra dumb for poor Finnish people who try to visit America or immigrate to America or anywhere in the world, maybe for that matter. And your name is this. Ida. Because people, if you're English speaking, you will not think that the first letter is a capital I. You will think instead that someone just forgot to capitalize the first letter of their name, because sometimes you just write your name out. You're like, boom, like that, right? So they'll say Lida. So if you are Ida and your name ever gets pronounced as Lida, you probably already knew this. You didn't need me to give you a dumb explanation, all right? I'm just insulting the intelligence of every Ida. I apologize. But yeah, there you go. So it was my bad. I didn't copy paste it correctly. Honda Monkey is the size of a sewing machine, and it feels like you're driving one too. These like little mini, ultra small mopeds. And yeah, JS, it does depend on the font. But whoever decided the fonts, a special place in hell for whoever designed it. Or, yeah, Dante. That could be a place in Dante's Inferno, right? Anyways, okay. Moving onward. Lorelai, you had said earlier. Moi. Opintojuttuissa lukee, että olen valmistunut andiksi. 26. I actually don't know how you would... I don't know how to say dates in Finnish. Because the 26th of June, 2025. On Thursday. But anyways. Toivottavasti tämä tarkoittaa, että saan todistukseni torstaina. Oh, Thursday, okay. Eilen sain myös tietää, että voin ottaa opiskelupaikan vastaan. So, okay, you're saying hello. Yeah, I don't know what this is. It's about something to do with studying, right? I thought juttu means like a thing. The study thing. In the study things is read, luke, right? Or is reading, are että olen valmistunut, that I have completed some sort of candidacy? Is that what this means? I'm gonna guess. Kandiksi, you've completed something, or whatever your degree, maybe, on the 26th of June. Hopefully, this takoittaa means or signifies, or is that a different, like, tarkoittaa? I don't know, takoittaa. I don't know. I'm probably messing it all up. This means that I get my results Thursday. Todistus. Is that? I know I've seen todistus so many times, and I'm like, does it mean results? I don't know. Eilen, yesterday, I also got to know that I can take a study place, vastaan. I don't know what vastaan is doing here, because I always think of vastaan as like against, or like in a direction. So I don't really know. Okay, well, let's look at the English here and what Google tells me. My transcripts, my study things. In my study things, the transcripts, yes. My transcripts, it says I graduated on June 26th. So yeah. Hopefully this means I'll get my certificate. So I did translate this as means. I don't know how I got that correctly. When I could have sworn there's an R in here. Tarkoittaa. Or is that is that a different word? And I'm just doing my Finnish dyslexia thing. You'll get your certificate on Thursday. Yesterday, I also found out that I can accept a study place. I mean, I could have guessed that it would mean something like that. Right? Because I think I translated originally that I can take a study place. But yeah, I still don't really know how vastaan is working here. But let me look at chat. Maybe you guys are helping me. Oh, you were saying the dates earlier for this. Oh no. Oh no, Lorelai. 26.6. Kesäkuuta. You could, or it's kuudetta or kesäkuuta. One being, wait, kuudetta meaning like the 6th month? Or kesäkuuta meaning June. The font you use in Terminal has very distinctive I and L. Yeah. But most of the fonts I feel like we use and see day to day are like what we see here on Google, you know, where it's the sans serif kind of font, right? Right? It's a non-issue, you know. It doesn't really, like, this is just, what is it? Making mountains out of molehills. Just taking a very small problem and like building it up into bigger issue. Oh wait, Lorelai. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute, Lorelai. Was I correct in correcting your Finnish? This has never happened in the history of 127 hours. This is literally the movie 127 hours. Is that how many hours it was? Where the guy has his arm pinned by a boulder. He's like, and he has to like leave his arm behind in order to get out and survive. This is me with the Finnish language, all right. And I finally it's funny because I was like, I thought it was tarkoittaa, but I didn't. I'm so used to being tricked by the Finnish language. I'm so used to having my expectation of how the language should function to be subverted, and for the language, and then for Finnish people to be like, oh yeah, no, but we don't say the K there, we don't say the R there, we flip it, invert it so that the I and the K switch, and you throw an S in there, and the N disappears, and it's like there's all sorts of little gymnastic tomfoolery that the Finnish language performs at every step of a sentence. Most languages save their tomfoolery for like more advanced stuff, Finnish is like, oh, we do it from the beginning, baby. We are ridiculous to our core. But anyways, I corrected the Finnish. So thank you for that. Thank you, Lorelai. Oh. But yeah, okay, and Lorelai, you said it as well. Otta vastaan means to accept. To accept. Because it can have other meanings as well, but in this context, it means to accept a study place. And also, yeah, you'll get here Google says certificate, but really you're getting a degree, right? I will get my degree. But yeah, okay, I think I have seen todistus, because often you might need a certificate for something or the other. We sometimes introduce typos into our Finnish, intentionally or not, to keep you on your toes. Thank you, JS. Yeah, clearly I'm getting too good, right? Finnish is just so easy when everything is spelled out correctly. We got to up the difficulty level. Thank you. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, the next level of language challenge, typos. Or okay, what about like when people text each other? Is it also the case that like older people text differently? Like if I'm texting someone who's like over 40 or 50, and this isn't the case for all people who are older, but like sometimes like I'll get texts from people and I'm like, you don't have to abbreviate everything. Like older people will abbreviate words that I'm like, we don't need to abbreviate anymore. Like we have like predictive text and you have a full keyboard. It's not like you're texting on a little Nokia phone where you have to press the number 4 3 times to get whatever letter. But yeah, I've seen sometimes I'm like, it's like a blast from the past getting those texts. But is it the case also in Finnish that older Finnish people will still text like it's 2003? Too many letters. It's a kung fu language. It's yeah, it's full of mystery, and I get my butt kicked every time. I'm literally Kung Fu Panda, except I haven't reached the character arc where I actually get good at Kung Fu. I just dream of the day that I one day will blind everybody with my awesomeness. Predictive text, you always disable that. Wait, Helion, what the heck? Texta miten halvat. People, but that putting the numbers in the words is like more work. But is that how people texted in Finnish? Like we would in English, we got like G2G, you know, meaning gotta go, and little abbreviations. I mean, sometimes we might still use a few abbreviations like BRB or WTF. But I don't know. I can't think of an example of like, there are times where it's like, oh yeah, there's this one thing I don't do anymore, but it was so common back in the days of like AOL Instant Messenger, where you would write, instead of writing you write you. You just write the letter. It's just like, there's something, it's okay if you're doing like, and it's just like one little part of a sentence that you're abbreviating, but when the whole sentence is abbreviated, then it starts to feel like, it starts to be weird to me. It feels almost childish because I associate that with my childhood. But for, I guess, older people, it was never childish for them because they were doing it. They were already older. I'm a nerd and proud of it, Helion. I guess I still use like LOL, but like these are like one-off little things that you reply, not full sentences. But if you're, I don't know. I can't think of an example, but I've noticed it. Tyler is still trying to learn Finnish. Yes, I am. But actually, we do have some time. We could take a look at the Selko Uti set. But give me a second. Give me a break. Let me tell you a little story. Today, I usually make like a dressing out of, I put some like Dijon mustard and tahini and balsamic vinegar with a little water, and I kind of just mix that up, maybe salt and pepper as well. And it's a really great dressing. You should try it. And I'll put that on, you know, whatever I'm eating. But sometimes though, I get to the bottom. I got to the bottom of the mustard jar, and I got a new mustard jar out, and so the old one still had some mustard in it, and so I put a little water in the jar and just shook it around, you know, so I'm not throwing out the mustard, and I added it to the dressing, but it turned out to be way too much mustard. I didn't realize how much latent mustard was still in the jar, just clinging in, you know, the little corners that are like impossible to get with a knife. And yeah, I could barely eat my dinner. I had already poured the dressing onto the food. And yeah, it was bad. It was tough. it burned. Like, have you ever had so much Dijon mustard that like burns your nose, like the back of your nose, like your nasal cavity is like on fire? That was my dinner experience, and I was just like, I only have myself to blame because I could have checked before adding the fresh mustard that I had opened a new jar anticipating that the old jar wasn't going to have enough. But then I overcompensated. I miscalculated, but I still ate the food. I suffered through it. I was like, I was like, I wish this wasn't so painful, but I got to eat it. There you go. That's my story. It's not a good story. I said I was going to tell you a story, not a good one. Not a Tolkien story this time. Well, just get ready. I mean, the Tolkien ones are coming. Uh, the Tales of the Shire video game is coming out next month. And it's a game that I am not hyped for, but I feel like I want to play. I want to experience it to know for myself if I'm actually going to like it or not. And I'm going to try to go in with a neutral, open mind, you know, like there are things about it that I'm not excited about. You know, but it's not it could still have some good stuff to it. Like, so I might play it on stream. So yeah. And we'll talk about the lore. All right. Maybe I need to do some research and preparation of Shireology so that I'm ready for it. But apparently they put a lot of effort into trying to make the story match, to have this whatever consistency with the text and the spirit of Tolkien's work. Though there's part of it that almost feels like it's a little too sweet, or not, I don't know, sweet, but sometimes when I really dislike it when video game characters are like too nice, and it's like they're created just to say nice things to you, and it's like there's something that's weird about that to me. I'm like, just give me more real characters. Not that characters need to be edgy, but like when it's almost like characters don't have any personality. And that's what I'm afraid of, that the hobbits are going to be like, that they might be a little too saccharine and stiff. Whereas like the hobbits are actually pretty nosy, and they're full of, I don't know, very human qualities. And they're also quite xenophobic. Right, the hobbits are very, like, what is it, kind of distrustful of other hobbits that live just like 50 kilometers down the road. But yeah, there you go. That's my Tolkien rant today. You got some koti sinapi mustard for you. What? The only food allergy you have, JS, is for mustard. Wow. I don't know if I've heard that. Mustard. I don't know if that's a common food allergy or not. I don't know if I've heard that before. You can't with mustard, Lorelai. I love it. I like mustard. It's just got it's got the right kind of zing and zang to it, It puts some oomph in my food. It causes runny nose and watery eyes. I like a little pain in my food. I like spicy food, Oh, that kind of makes me want to eat some really spicy wings or something. Or like some like Tex-Mex, some tacos with like chips and salsa. I have not had proper chips and salsa in forever. I would love to go sit on a patio and just have a frozen margarita with some homemade, not potato chips, tortilla chips, and homemade fresh salsa and guacamole. That would be so good. You just chill, eat to your heart's content. And when that salsa is like, when the salsa is like kind of fiery and it burns a little bit, and then you got to drink your margarita to cool it. It's the simple things. Yeah. Maybe there is a place in Finland that offers that, but I don't know. Anyways, I feel like we gotta read. We gotta do something. What about this? Something about lasten kesäleirit. I don't. What is leiri? I should know this word, leiri. But it's like children's summer. Oh yeah, it's summer camp. Children's summer camps. Leiri. Nyt aiheena ovat lasten kesäleirit. Now the topic are the children's summer camps. Lasten kesäleirit ovat lyhyempiä kuin ennen. Children's summer camps are shorter than before. I got like hiccups now. It's all that Dijon mustard coming back to haunt me. I was thinking as I was eating, I'm like, what if I get sick? Like, it's painful going down. What if my stomach doesn't handle the mustard at this density? It's the like a nuclear reactor in there, just in overdrive, trying to avoid a meltdown. But anyways, moni lapsi lähtee kesällä pois kotoa leirille. Many children like leave. Doesn't it just like I think it's like to leave. Leave during the summer or for the summer. They go away over the summer. Kotoa. Is that they go away from home for the summer to camp? I don't know. We'll translate it here in a second. Leirillä lapset esimerkiksi urheilevat, uivat ja viettävät aikaa yhdessä. At the camp, children, for example, play sports, swim, and do stuff together or spend time together. Yeah, viettää means to spend, and viettää aikaa to spend time. They spend time together. Seinäjokelaiset 9-vuotiaat Varpu Haapala. Haapa. That's a type of tree. Is that a Haapa? Is that an aspen? Is that the aspen? Varpu Haapala ja Veera Ikola ovat Kessulan kesäleirillä. So the Seinäjokelainens, Seinäjokians, the Seinäjokians, 9-year-olds Varpu Haapala and Veera Ikola are at a summer camp of Kessula. They're at Kessula's summer camp. Yes, is a tree. Shocker, Finnish names connected to nature. A line for those who are surprised will form to the left of here. Wait, what? That's also maybe why Finnish people are like hobbits. All right, that's another connection to Tolkien, okay? It's all the nature names. You got any proud foots in the Finnish language? But anyways, where were we? Toimittaja Ria Hantula. So the worker Ria Hantula says, jos tulee ikävä kotiin, niin miten sitten toimitaan? It's sort of like if one is missing home, if one is feeling homesick, is that what this means? Then how does that work? Niin miten sitten toimitaan? Or how is it dealt with? I don't know. And then Varpu, or is this reporter? Does this mean a reporter? I said worker. I was thinking they were like a camp counselor. But maybe it's like, it's an interview, right? And so then Varpu says, voi sanoa aikuiselle, se voi vähän auttaa. One can say to the adults, is that to the adults? Se voi vähän auttaa. If one can get a little help, or one can help a little. Or it helps a little, it can help a little. To tell the adults. Man, you like even these 9-year-old kids are speaking in such complex grammatical structures. I can't keep up. The last names you can see on all the doors in your apartment building are like pretty much all nature related JS, including yours. Yeah, a reporter, not a worker. Okay, thank you, Lorela. Yeah, toimittaja. It helps a little. That's what that means. It helps a little to tell the adults, is what she's saying. So then the reporter says, aiotko tulla uudesta leirille? I don't know this. Uudesta. Uudesta. But isn't like ayot like you? Isn't it like you are about to do something? Like, are you about to come home? Well, I don't know. Yeah, something about coming from the camp, right? Or what is it? Sort of like, what new thing did you learn at the camp? Is that maybe what this means? Vera Ikola then replies, aion tulla, koska leirit on niin kivoja. Maybe it doesn't mean I'm about to. Maybe it means something else. I'm about to become because camps are so fun, so nice. A typo there. It should be uudestaan with an N. Will you come again? It's like there's uudelleen. That's another word that is like for again. Uudelleen, as opposed to taas. And aikoa is to intend. Like, are you planning to come to camp again? Right? And then she replies, I'm planning to come because camps are fun. Reporter says, mikä täällä on kivaa? What is nice about it? Kun saa käydä uimassa ja saa paljon uusia kavereita. When you get when you get to go swimming and you get a lot of new friends. Shoot, I need to go to summer camp. I need to go to summer camp for 36-year-olds. Lasten kesäleirit ovat lyhyempiä kuin ennen. Well, I don't feel like this was explained. Like, children's summer camps are shorter than before. Leirit kestävät yleensä alle 5 päivää. Camps last usually less than alle? Does that mean like under 5 days? Vielä 1980-luvulla lasten ja nuorten kesäleirit kestivät usein viikon tai 2 viikkoa. Since the 1980s, children and the youth, I guess adolescents, summer camps have lasted often a week or 2 weeks. I'm not sure I understood everything here. Let's switch to English. Children's summer camps are shorter than before. Many children go away to camp in the summer. So yeah, I was a little ambiguous here on like, is it just like it during the summer, or does it mean like for the whole summer? It probably wouldn't mean that contextually, but I didn't know grammatically. Oh, Helion, it could have just, it might have been a typo, but it also could just be the spoken language version. And the reporter spoke lazily. Uudestaan instead of uudestaan. Yeah. A summer camp for 40-something-year-olds would just be a trip to Thailand or something. Cringe. I don't. But I want like a proper summer camp, you know, where it's like there's cabins and games. I want it to be very playful, not like oh, we're just at a resort, you know. Still in the 80s, not since the 80s, still in the 80s. Kesällä is during the summer, and kesäksi is for the whole summer. It could also be a dialect and not just the lazy speech. So at camp, children play sports, swim, and spend time together. I got that. 9-year-old Varpu and Vera from Seinäjoki. Oh yeah, from Google does a good job of making it sound like, I don't know, sound more natural in English. Whereas I called them Seinäjokians, 9-year-olds, whatever. They are at Kessula summer camp. And here's the reporter. If you miss home, what should you do? So I don't think I translated that perfectly there. Yeah, it's like if you miss home. I didn't get the should here. But I have heard, or I think we've maybe seen it on stream before, that using the passive can mean like should. And this is also weird because I would expect it to be like tehdä, to do. But here it's saying to work, toimi. But obviously in this context, it just means like, what then should you do? What does one do then? Yeah. Also, I was about to say, look at how much shorter this sentence becomes when we switch to English. Look at that. But then I also saw like down here, these sentences get much longer. So look, it's called cherry picking the data. All right. Look, don't don't hate me for cherry picking the data. This is my live stream. This is my Learn Finnish with me live stream. This is what I'm doing. This is the freedom of adulthood I was promised as a child. All right. As a child, I was told, no, you can't do this. You can't. Now I am an adult and I do what I want. And I cherry pick the data to fit my preconceived bias. If you get homesick, then what? That's another translation. How it can also mean like, how do you act then? Yeah. Like, yeah, to do, to act, to work doesn't make sense in English in this context. But anyways, yeah. So then it goes, you can tell an adult. It might help a little. I think Varpu has more emotional maturity than I do. She sounds like she's like really good at coping, you know, with her positive and negative emotions, right? Good on you, Varpu. You can tell an adult. Maybe it'll help a little. Like, you can almost tell that Varpu is like probably the girl in class who's like, you know, gets really good grades, has the most organized planner that you've ever, her binder. All the stickers are perfectly, you know. She's probably gonna have to go see a therapist when she's an adult for perfectionism. That's like a thing where like all the girls who did really well as kids, I mean, not just girls, but I think it was common for girls to go through this where it's like that you do really well, you're a good girl your whole life, and then you become an adult and then you're like, what the heck? And you got some processing to do. I don't know Varpu, so I feel bad speculating this hypothetical. Varpu, you're awesome. If you're watching this, you did a fantastic interview, and you give very good advice. Ria then replies, "Are you planning to come to camp again?" So we did get this. You guys helped me. And Vera says, "I'm going to come because the camps are so nice." See, this is a more typical children's answer. When you ask them, like, are you going to do this or why? And they're just like, just cuz. You know, kids don't even pretend. Like, if they don't want to answer or give like a more detailed explanation, they're not going to give it. And to be fair, they might not have a more detailed explanation. They're just going off of what they know. I'm going to come because the camps are so nice. There you go. Boom, that's all you need. But then on the other hand, kids will hold you hostage with these long-winded stories and explanations. They never want to answer your actual questions. But they what is it? They revel and rejoice in the most mundane stuff that you're like, oh my God, this is so boring. And then Ria says, what's nice here? So Ria, actually, like a good investigative journalist, Ria's like not letting Vera off the hook so easily. You know, we got to make sure. Oh, wait, what am I doing? We got to make sure she answers and explains. So she's saying in this case, oh, what's nice about it? What's nice here? And then she replies, when you get to go swimming and make lots of new friends. That's true. You know, it is a thing that, like, what is it about kids and swimming? I know that adults enjoy swimming too, but I don't know any adults who enjoy swimming half as much as children do. Children and Labradors. I feel like that was such a thing as a kid to go swimming, and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. It was so much fun, and you get your goggles on, and you go in the pool, and you're like, you got your pool toys. You come out of it. You come out, and your eyes are red because you got the chlorine in your eyes. And your fingers are all pruny. You guys remember that? And there was always some kid's like birthday or something, you know? So there was always like coming out of the pool and eating birthday cake is like a quintessential children's experience, you know? And then there were like these rules that was like, if you eat, you have to wait an hour before you go in the pool. Who made that rule? Was there like a study that showed statistically children are more likely to just die in the water on a full stomach? What was that? What was the reason for that? But anyways, you guys were, she just has undiagnosed ADHD. Oh, JS, you gave another translation. How do you make it work if you get homesick? Ah, JS. Very clever. You made it work to use the verb work in that context. I didn't see it. But yeah. Or perhaps Varpu has lost a family member or something like that and learned that talking actually helps. I learned that later in life. Well, that's pretty dark for a 9-year-old, but yeah, I will say actually that is something I noticed here in Finland. Maybe this could have just been like I don't know, the sample, unrepresentative sample size that when I first came to Finland and I visited schools and I saw the way the kids treated each other and the way they interacted with adults, and it was a lot more communicative. I felt like I went to schools where the adults were like foreign aliens, our overlords, you know, who were there to punish us. And it wasn't like you never had nice teachers or anything for me growing up, but it was like, yeah, it wasn't like you would go to your teacher to talk about, you know, I don't know, just more normal things or like your thoughts and feelings. It was like you were there almost like an object for them to shape, right? Whoever you were before is erased. I don't know. It's kind of it's a bit more of like an authoritarian type of relationship. And it's very common, I think, in Southern American culture for it to be like that, like the formality of like yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, and then like do as you're told, you know, no talking back. The idea of like disrespect it creates a lot of barriers that maybe protect adults from, I don't know, having more vulnerable conversations with kids, but then also it can isolate kids. So I remember that. I was surprised when I came to Finland and I saw them like kids can actually like talk to adults in like a positive and healthy way if they have issues. And it's not like they're being rebellious or disrespectful. They might be upset about something, but it's not like they're, you know, the adults aren't taking it personally. That's what confused me. I felt like I had so many teachers growing up who just took anything and everything personally. And it's like, oh my gosh. So yeah. There, that's I don't know where that rant came from. Small. Wait, hold on, wait a second. Wait, Lorelai, you lost your 20s to this nonsense? To ADHD. Small Labradors and small kids and Labradors are basically the same. And Poyu, you hated swimming even as a child. I guess that is, yeah, there are kids that do hate that. You know, I'm generalizing. I'm just remembering my childhood. And also, I think part of it was that growing up in Texas, the summer is so hot that if you go outside, the pool is like the best place to be. I distinctly remember going to our neighborhood pool and then coming back and then getting on our Windows 95 CRT computer and playing The Sims Live and Large with my best friends who were my next door neighbors. And we would have all sorts of fun shenanigans in The Sims. Or we would play Roller Coaster Tycoon. And we would take turns doing scenarios. That and then we would go back to the pool and then back to play The Sims and then back to the pool. Those were the days. And then we get on our bikes and we would ride around our little neighborhood. We'd build forts. Yeah. I wonder what that neighborhood is like, because I bet it's just a bunch of old people there now. It's not, even if there are young families there, it's not at all the same, because when we moved there in the 90s, that neighborhood was half empty. So there were all these empty lots with like trees and, you know, just a nature to play in. So all around the neighborhood, we would have little forts and things in these empty lots. And but now everything is built up and there's homes everywhere. So you wouldn't be able to do any of that crazy stuff that we. Maybe swimming reminds them of the womb. It's not the swimming that is alien to you, Helion. Although it's been too long since the last time, but it's the enjoyment from making new friends that's weird to you. Wait, what do you mean? Making new friends is not enjoyable to you anymore, Helion? Is that what you mean? Kids usually make friends easier, but it's totally different for adults. It kind of depends. I will say that part of making friends as an adult almost requires becoming childlike. Not all the time, but like, I notice it's so much easier to make friends when you're not standing around talking about your lives. Because as adults, our identities are so fragile, and it's like, oh, what do you do for work? And oh yeah, you know, it's like the most boring crap nobody wants to talk about. You know, what we really need is to play games. We need to role play. I think this is also why like LARPing and cosplaying and all that kind of stuff is really exploding, especially for adults, because it allows you to like meet people with almost like with a persona that isn't like your boring real life persona. Or at least not your real life persona that's fragile. That you just you get to play games together. You know, even if you aren't role playing, you could be playing a game and just having fun. You know, I don't know. I feel like that's what was so great about summer camps for kids is you go in there and you're just a kid. Just like all the other kids. I don't know. And yeah, you form friendships and you form friendships around like Pokemon cards, you know? Like those were the days. Those were the days when you had Game Boys. That's also why I'm not excited about the Switch 2. All right. Nintendo needs to return to its root of having a dedicated like mobile unit like a Game Boy and a dedicated console and just have them separate. I don't want a lukewarm handheld thing that I can also plug into a TV. It's like, just give me one or the other. There's another rant. Look, I'm all about the rants today. What have I ranted about? Nintendo now, apparently. But actually, last night, I booted up a fresh save of Breath of the Wild, and I played the Great Plateau, and it was like so enjoyable to revisit because it's been years since I played for the first time, and I forgot how good the beginning of Breath of the Wild is, where it's like you're just learning the controls and you're running around and the bokoblin camps. It's actually so fun to try and fight the bokoblins when you have like no health and like no weapons. I mean, you have a little bit, and so you have to be kind of creative. And yeah, the Great Plateau is just like, it was so well designed in Breath of the Wild. And then it made me angry about what Nintendo did with Tears of the Kingdom. They took everything Breath of the Wild did well and kind of just made it a little bit worse. But anyways, I could rant about that. I'll hold back. I'll hold back. Nintendo. But yeah. The last time you made a friend was at early years of university a few decades ago. Yeah, as you get older, it is harder. I've noticed. It's like if I don't try to make new friends, it's not happening. You know, it's like you gotta reach out and do things and talk to people. But yeah, I find it's like most good things in life, getting over the initial friction is the hardest part. You know, the hardest part of running is getting out the door, in my experience. Like just getting the clothes on and getting out the door. The actual run itself sounds like it should be the hard part, but that's the fun part. So it's like when you start talking to someone and then you realize, actually, this is a pretty cool person. I'm glad I met this person, you know? And also it's important to do that because it takes a little pressure off of friends that you've had around a long time who might not be as available anymore. I've noticed this where I'm like, I sort of had to realize that some friends simply can't be good friends to me. And it's nothing personal. Like they just don't have the bandwidth or whatever, you know? So kind of you just have to accept that and still value them for who they are and who they've been in your life, but you can't expect them to keep showing up in a way they can't. But sometimes actually gaming is a fun way to keep friendships alive, especially friends that, you know, I can't see in person who live far away. Playing Stardew together is a fun thing I've done with some friends. But JS, that sounds cool. You visit friends to play board games. That's good. A couple times a week too. That's pretty regular. But I will also say, Finnish people do not make friends. It's not that Finnish people are unfriendly. They just are, I don't know, what's the word for this? They are not unfriendly, they are a-friendly. Finnish people will like not reach out to you, or like they'll not really take much effort. Be like, oh, cool, hey, nice to meet you. Where are you from? And cool, I live just down the street. We should hang out sometime. You know, like I've never had a Finnish person try to get to know me like that. It's kind of sad when I think about it. I feel like, man, that I think about how like, sure, of course, like I take responsibility for my social life and whatever, but you do think about how like, it doesn't have to be like this. Like on some level, society is responsible. Like you aren't completely whatever responsible for things that happen to you in life, or for things that don't happen to you. Because at least in America, I feel like, and this also could be how things have changed over the years. Like, I'm sure that, yeah, it might not be the same way it was back in the 90s and early 2000s before social media and, you know, and I have heard that like there are parts of Finland where like there are people that live sort of in like suburbs the families might all kind of know each other, but yeah, I haven't experienced it. All right, I've only heard legends. But hey, Yuha, welcome in here at the end of the stream. Good to see you here. Yeah, you had in-laws visiting Helion a couple days, a week ago, and still trying to bounce back from the exhaustion. Well, I will say also, if people are visiting in your space, or like you have to see them a lot, then yeah, especially if they're like your in-laws, you married into that relationship, not it's not like you're just naturally meeting up for a shared interest. I like that, JS. This is like the most Finnish answer. I think I have about 5 friends. Because I'm a bit uncertain about some. That's like the stereotypical Finnish answer of like, how many friends do you have? And yeah, you're saying you have no need for more. Like just a few good friends is all you need, Proto Baggins. Yeah, uni friends moved away years ago, Lorelei. That's also something that's been really tough, I've noticed. I think especially in America, it's like so many people move around the country. Like practically all my friends I went to university with, none of us stayed in the university town. Like and we came from all over the state, all over Texas, and all over, I mean, even other parts of the US. So I had friends who were just kind of from all around, and so it's like it's really hard to keep a friend group once you all graduate and move on. And then a lot of people will apply for postgraduate or whatever graduate programs all around the country, and so people are kind of, yeah, it's tougher to keep in touch. What I just said sounds very alien, JS, about like getting to know someone randomly. It has occurred to me like more recently, like impulsive. I get this impulsive urge to like stop somebody and just surprise them by talking to them and be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and like actually just to be like almost obnoxiously nice and interested, like, and genuinely interested in their life. And just to be like, you see how nice that felt? That I'm just a total random person and now you feel like you've been seen? Yeah. Let that be a lesson to all. And also I'm imagining this happening in a very public space, like the grocery, like everyone in the grocery store has like gathered around to come witness this social interaction of the ages, this epic social interaction of and then me getting on my soapbox and telling all the Finnish people, this is how it could be. We could all be nicer to each other. I think this is a realistic fantasy. I think this could play out, hypothetically speaking. Not to mention the fact that I probably would not be half as charismatic in my friend make. I'd probably just stumble over my words and be like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, all right, bye." Cool, all right, sorry. But that would also be very Finnish. But it is nice to have friends that you talk to every few years as well, you know. Like it's occurred to me, I need to reach back out to some of my friends that I haven't talked to in years, just to see, you know, how things are going. Getting to know someone like that is probably considered being rude by most. I don't know. Vlad, hey, welcome in. What did you expect when moving to Kerava? I have not confirmed or denied the Kerava rumor. I'd just like to have it known. I did move outside Helsinki, but I haven't confirmed or denied any specific locations, Kerava included. Part of it is the neurospicy for you, Lorelai. And Yuha, you thought about the quietness of Finnish people when it comes to human relationships, and I think it boils down to learned behavior from shut-in people traumatized by the war. Yeah, I've heard as well as the sort of, I guess it's a theory, I don't know what to call it, but I have heard that. And actually, I was thinking about it because I saw a YouTube video of somebody who ran the Comrades Marathon in South Africa. And it's one of the most famous races you can do in kind of ultra running. And before the race, or the day before the race, or in the morning, the day before the race, they have these groups where you can sort of like, it's kind of like doing a shakeout run, but instead of running, you're just singing and dancing, but not dancing, but you're kind of like, you're kind of like jogging in place or just like jogging together in this little group, and you're singing these songs. And I'm like, man, African people are just, they are, I don't know, they're like, the thought of just how, what is it, how social and like unhinged, not unhinged, but like unrestricted. They're singing, and or I've seen videos of like people on an airplane going to Nigeria, and they experience turbulence, and all the Nigerians start praying to God out loud. it's like so, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable to hear people like just shouting like that. I don't, but it's not like they're angry. They're like they're praying to God with all their might. And you're just like, man, it is funny how like we're all human. We all basically share the same DNA, but we're so different. Yeah, it makes me think. Yeah, it's like the Africans, they know how to party, man. They know how to do stuff together, right? I should make a new grocery store video from a shop near my new place. How things have changed in 8 years. Well, the cucumbers are still individually wrapped in plastic, and I've been informed that's the way it has to be. Otherwise, they'll spoil a lot sooner. And there still is Kaffa Roastery making and selling coffee in grocery stores, so that would be another thing. Trying to think of like, I don't even know. Oh man, that was such a time. 2016, what a time to be on YouTube. To make dumb vlogs. That was fun. Different cultures are different, newsflash. Look, I'm just saying, We could use a little cultural shakeup over here from time to time. But actually, I mean, you know, when you get the wheels spinning, when you get the Finnish people are like diesel engines. They just take a long time to warm up, you know? But that's why you need, like, you can't expect to make friends in a more normal way in Finland. It's like you almost have to make friends through some very specific hobby or something. Like, and then Finnish people will, you know, will loosen up, you know. Yeah. You've been lurking, Vlad, in the stream. Many new coffee packages to be kissed. Oh man, there's a certain like admiration I have for 2016 me. I had this creative energy. I didn't question it. Maybe at times I should have questioned it. But for the most part I didn't, and I created stuff. Were they good videos? I don't know. People watched them. That's all I can say. I made videos and people watched them. And I kissed a coffee bag, you know. And I danced in the forest. Crazy. I think that the fact that those videos did so well is itself evidence that Finnish people are starved. Finnish people are starved for the kind of cringy yet quirky, fun behavior, right? That I have. Or maybe they just watched it because it was super cringe. You know, maybe that's maybe there was nothing they really admired or even enjoyed. But look, I like my theory. Almost no societal behavior is in human nature. A lot of it is learned. Finns learn to be quiet and timid and such, and honestly, it's kind of sad. Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, it is also really good in a lot of ways. Like, I really like that people are respectful, and like people are very reliable and honest in a way that is pretty exceptional here, that I really like. So yeah. 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 But I'm not trying to say like, oh, the good outweighs the bad, or like and you know, it balances out. I feel like that's a bit too trite, but there are times I want Finnish people just to break free. We need a Finnish day of like public. I don't know. I'm like, now I'm second guessing this, because you know there will be Finnish people who will ruin this. But like public goofiness. A day of like and even if it's not goofiness, it could be like a day of like meet your neighbors. Right? It wouldn't it would be mostly not a holiday, but a punishment. A necessary evil to improve I don't know, this, like if you think about it, if every Finnish person just got one more, not even a close friend, but just got one more friend who lived nearby, that's millions of people who have just all improved their life, like pretty drastically. Like there are so many people in Finland who don't know their neighbors, or like don't feel like they can necessarily go and talk, you know. Honestly, that's why I was talking about summer camp. Like summer camp is the catalyst, right? It is the environment, the crucible you enter that then all you come out of it feeling like a totally new person, right? You made all these new friends, you had all these great memories. Like, we need social catalysts, and not just the dumb ones like going out and getting drunk, or going to a club, right? Especially catalysts that don't require you to go and spend a lot of money. We need more, I don't know. We need more moxie. Okay, that's not the word. I don't know what. That's not the right word to use. Wild and free, Tyler, and then you got older. I got older. I got colder. Yeah. Oh, well, Vlad, I have had people say no or A if I ask if they will. Wait, when you asked if they spoke Finnish in Finnish? Wait, did I ask him if he spoke Finnish? I thought I asked if he spoke English. I don't know, maybe did I? I don't. But I have had people say no if I ask. I might ask if they speak English, and I'm like, all right. Okay. This is awkward. Sorry. Starve for the tea, man. Starve for fun and friendship. The power of friendship. Forced socialization. Yes. This is my theory. The hardest part of anything is just the initial barrier. Right? Getting out the door to go on a run. Just breaking the ice to get to know somebody. That literally, we have icebreaker question. It's so difficult to just get to know somebody. We have to break the ice. And Finnish people are solid ice sometimes. All right. Me types to Google how to move out of Finland. 27, you're gonna go talk to a random person on the street tomorrow. And JS, you do chat with people on the trail if the situation is at. You're turning into your mom, Lorelai, and you'll talk people's ears off. Oh, okay, Vlad. So I did say English in that. You asked if they spoke English in Finnish. I was very polite then. And sometimes I still do that. Or at least I'm at a point where I can understand a lot more Finnish now that I don't have to switch to English to understand. But I can't really respond in Finnish. I can kind of just answer yes and no questions in Finnish. So sometimes if I do need to say something, then I'll switch to English. I don't ask that. But when I first moved to Finland, I was very polite and I was like, anteeksi, puhutko englantia? I was like, that was my number one phrase. Yeah. Yeah. Forcing something is not a good motivation. I'm just a believer that, like, you just trust the process. You know what I mean? Just trust that it will get easier. You only need to force it at the beginning. That's all I'm saying. Like, if it's awful the entire time, then okay, maybe that's a sign you shouldn't have that. You shouldn't do that or have that as a hobby or whatever. But like, at least in my case, I find that, yeah, the hardest part is just showing up. And then once you're there, it's not that bad. Workplace motivation day activities. I mean, I kind of like that stuff. Maybe it would depend. I haven't done that stuff in a really long time, but I like it when things kind of get switched up a little bit, and you get to play a game or do something. I feel like it sucks when life is so calculated and it's like all we do is just show up where we're supposed to be and then we leave. Like, the moment we clock out of work, we're gone and we don't want to talk to anybody. Like we don't, you know, it's almost like we resent the people we work with. And it's just like, that's really sad. I think that, you know, that's a failure of the community. Work isn't something, it shouldn't be just something you have to do. But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I feel like we learned some Finnish today. Even if we didn't go through a lot, but we also had a fun time. Okay, that's what it's all about. All right, that hasn't changed. Okay, I may have gotten older. I'm like 9 years older now from when I started this YouTube channel, but I haven't aged a day. Okay, I just do my dancing off camera. That's all. But I do it off camera, but I'm still out in the forest. Yeah, that's the reason my neighbors don't talk to me. All right. They are completely weirded out. Okay, no. Not sure what you voted for, but blue. It was the microphone color. So that's what we got. Maybe I'll put some other colors up because we do have, I didn't have purple on there. We had disco, and it changes too quickly. You guys were not a fan of this. Off could also be an option. This one is like just slightly changing. But yeah, nobody liked red. That was a loser. Oops. Oh, there was yellow and now green. It's a weird touch button here that's really difficult. But yeah, there's also light blue, kind of like it reminds me of like an ice blue for some reason. But yeah, it's a new microphone, Vlad. I finally decided to replace the old one just to see, and I literally bought the cheapest USB microphone at Prisma because I was like, there's no way that the cheapest one is going to be the solution to my problems. And if it isn't, I can return it, you know? And it turns out I haven't had any problems with this. The audio quality isn't quite as good, in my opinion, as the Blue Yeti, but it's so minor. You honestly can't tell the difference unless you're listening side by side. And when I switched it on stream, I asked you guys, and many of you actually liked the sound of this microphone. So we voted for this one, and this one I'm keeping, at least, yeah. That's true. And JS, there are other things besides learning the Finnish language. The grammar and the vocab is not all that's involved in learning Finnish. We have the cultural experience. We talked about friendship, a foreign concept to most. No. But yeah, we talked about Finnish culture and then also about, I don't know, getting older, making friends, and reminiscing on what it was like as a kid, swimming in the pool and playing The Sims, you know. You did make another comment, Helion, but in Finnish, your long Finnish language comment as a homework, the teacher in you. Oh, I've got homework. Hopefully you feel this dance feeling after these rains. That's what brought the rain. You guys don't know this, but I do the rain dance here. That's why I'm here. My residence permit, that's my basis for being here. Is that I bring the rain. I make it rain. Quiz about the sentence. Next week's stream. I'm not gonna remember. Oh, how much was this microphone? It was maybe like 35 euros, maybe 40. It was less than 40. It might have been like 38. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, less than 40 euros. JS remembers. The microphone from hell. Oh, it frustrates me, 27, that it gave me so many problems. And it was one of those decisions that was hard for me to make because I wanted to get a better microphone, but I didn't want to spend another 100 or 150 euros or more only for the microphone to not work, like the Blue Yeti, because the Blue Yeti is supposed to be a good microphone. It didn't work for me. I don't know if it was a faulty unit or if it was the interface I have with on Mac, but green suits my eyes best. Well, I've got blue eyes, all right? I got icy, cold blue eyes. Windows to my soul. Frozen. Frozen solid. No warmth in me. After all these years in Finland. And yeah, it could have been a fault with the unit. I feel like in all likelihood that was it, because I did troubleshoot a lot and nobody on the forums had the same problem I had. So I kind of figure if it was an issue with Mac, some other people would have posted about it and there would be some fix, some software fix or something. But yeah, probably just the unit. You got brown eyes, 27. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for being here every freaking Tuesday. We've been doing this for quite a while. There are times when I'm really motivated and I'm practicing every day, and then there are times when I'm only motivated just to show up on Tuesday and learn with you guys. But I appreciate that we keep doing this. So yeah, thanks for that. And also a little gaming update. We beat Terraria last Thursday. I was not expecting. We beat the final boss on the first try. People said I couldn't do it. Terraria veterans were in my chat being like, be prepared to lose to Moonlord. You're gonna die the first time you play him. What they didn't know is that I am a god gamer. All right, I grew up playing the Flintstones and Jetsons on MS-DOS. Moonlord has nothing on the Tyrannosaurus Rex at the end of the Flintstones game that I actually never beat because it was too hard. Yeah, I took on the Moonlord and I kind of cheesed it a little bit, you know, but I played according to the rules. I played and I made a game plan and I executed the plan and we beat the final boss and it felt really good. So I'm gonna maybe start a new game, or at least I was thinking of starting a new Stardew Valley playthrough. And I might do it with some restrictions. So it's not if I do it, it's not going to be a normal playthrough. It's going to be a granny playthrough where I have to focus on giving loved gifts. And that actually is really difficult in the first year and requires a bit of luck. So I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible. But I had this itch to do a granny challenge. It's a challenge I'm inventing. I haven't seen anyone else do it. But yeah. Yeah, there are other games that I could play, but sometimes it's nice if I play a new game just to play it off stream, because if I don't like it, then I don't want to feel like I'm letting people down, you know, or like maybe I'm not going to finish it. But yeah. Some farming type of game next. And yeah, also, and then in July, I would like to play Tales of the Shire on stream. I think that even if I don't like the game, I still think it would be fun to play it together. So, I'm not afraid of playing that one. And you've been playing Bloodborne, JS. I have had this itch to play like more of those, more games like that. Bloodborne. I've never played Bloodborne or like games that were really popular during a time when I wasn't gaming as much, like The Witcher, or I don't know, Skyrim. I still have never played. Or what is it like? Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, 4, and 5. Never played. Yeah. I also want to revisit Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I talked about this maybe a stream or two ago, or maybe on my gaming stream. I don't know. But yeah, the GTA games were so fun back in the day. So well designed. What really good gameplay progression. But yeah, Souls likes. Oh yeah, there's like Ghost of Tsushima looked pretty fun. Yeah, there's Elden Ring. Yeah, yeah, a lot of good games could play. Not enough time. But anyways, guys, I gotta sign off. Thanks for joining the stream, and yeah, I hope to see you in the next one next Tuesday. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Finland time, or possibly during my gaming streams on Thursdays, sometime around 7, sometimes a bit earlier. But yeah. All right, guys, have a good rest of your week, and hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.